Welcome to the Mom Owned and Operated podcast, the podcast about moms and for moms, where we have candid conversations about running a business, raising a family, and remembering ourselves. I'm your host, Rita Suzanne, a single mom of four, digital strategist, and provider of no-nonsense business strategies and tactics. Hi, this is Mom Owned and Operated. I'm Rita Suzanne, and today I have my guest, Laoisha, with me. Thank you so much for joining me. I am so excited to talk to you about all the things. Please tell everyone all about you, your family, and your business.
Thank you. And thank you for having me on here, Rita. I'm very excited. So my name is Laoisha, Laoisha Holmes. I am a mum of two. I am lucky enough to have a daughter who's 3 and will be turning 4 next month, and a son who's 2 and will be turning 3 in July.
Wow.
They came within 13 months of each other. And I am married. And at the moment, I'm between two careers. So I'm still doing the full-time corporate jobs that I've done since I finished schooling and university. But I've started my own business as well. And they're both very different things, Rita. The full-time job is in corporate finance. And my own business that I've started is as a mindset coach.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what I'm doing at the moment. I'm balancing being a mum, my corporate finance job, and building my business.
I love it. And you are in England right now.
I'm in England, yeah. Irish, living in England. Yeah,
so
very important to say Irish, yeah.
How did you decide that, how do you go from finance to mindset? Like, well, how did that happen?
Do you know what? It's like, I'll have to go back a bit because I've always just loved helping people. I've always felt like called to help people and called to serve. And when I was at school, because my favorite subject was math and I was good at maths, I was always suggested by the teachers to go down into a job in that sector. And I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, I was very influential. I listened to people, especially people of authority. So they said it. So I was like, yeah, okay. And I did it. And then I've got so many vivid memories of sitting at the desk in London, looking out the window, all these big buildings, and just thinking, there has to be more. Like, I could be doing more. I should be doing more. And all I could get to then was I should be helping people. That's it. A little notion of being a psychotherapist or counselor would come into my mind. But then I'd think, oh no, I haven't trained for that, and go back to a busy life. Then fast forward to 2019 and two big life experiences happened, one really good and one really bad. And that is when things changed then. That's when I decided to listen to the intuition, listen to this urge and voice to do more. And I've always been fascinated with the power of the human mind and the law of attraction. And I decided I'm going to research as much as I can about these two things and apply it to my life. And it all just took off from there. It all just progressed lovely from there. The research turned to studying, turned to certificates. And then I just felt this is my calling. I've changed my life by changing my mindset. And now I want to help as many other people as I can to do the same. Long answer.
Yeah, no, I love it because, those two things are so different. And so often I think that mindset is so important. I remember, and I've told this story before, I started my business in 2014 and my first coach, she said to me, we had our very first meeting and she said, your mindset, you really need to work on your mindset. And I said, I don't even know what that means. And back then it wasn't so well known as it is now. And so I love that it's become so well known. Obviously, I was just living in, I guess, coming from corporate and having that mindset of being a worker and and not really, I guess, believing in myself enough to realize that I could do it, or having that maybe a little bit of a negative mindset of, not knowing that, what was really possible, and she helped me see
Yeah.
all of those things, and, affirmations and journaling and all of those things just
Mm.
really helped to put me into a different mindset. And so, what are some of the things that helps you create or helps other people create the priorities in their life?
Yeah, it's just going back to what you said there. It's funny you say that, Rita, because I had a conversation with someone today about exactly this, and I love this, the simplicity of life. It's like the universe at play, isn't it? And when you are working for a big corporation, your mind gets even more saturated, doesn't it? Like if you dare to think outside the norm, if you're sitting there looking out the window like I did, and you dare to think outside the norm, you're quickly pushed back in that box, aren't you?
Hmm.
Like this is it. Stay here. You've got a good job. Climb the ladder. Take the next step. Take the next step. Take the next step. Anything else is nonsense. Like it's just it just pulls you back into that way of thinking, doesn't it?
Well, I felt like I had lost myself. And
Yeah.
at that time, I was living in Southern California. And I remember, to start my business, I had moved back to Ohio, which is about 3,000 miles. And I had moved back here, and my family was like, "You're so different." And
Mm.
in hindsight now, what I had changed as a person, and I didn't even realize it.
Yeah.
And, I was different. And so they were seeing somebody different because I had assimilated to what they wanted me to be while I was,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's scary, isn't it? And like you, when I started this journey, Rita, I like one of the first questions you ask yourself, like you with your coach, would be like, who am I? I hadn't a clue how to answer that question. That
Yeah.
question floored me. That first question, who am I? What? Because it's always, I should be doing this. I'll try and be more that. I'll do this. It's just, you're just saturated all the time with other people's thoughts, opinions, expectations, beliefs. Then you go into the corporate world and it's more so you're molded into being one of their employees and you just lose yourself, don't you? You lose your own self, your own thoughts, your own values, your own beliefs, your own goals, your own wants.
Yeah.
And
It's easy. It's
it's
very easy
easy.
to do that because, I guess it's like a herd mentality, right? You
Mm,
kind of, you go with what they want you to be. And,
yeah,
and so it,
yeah,
it it becomes so easy, and anything out of the norm is frowned upon.
it is. And then life today, it's set up, isn't it, to be busy. So we don't have time to think or have conversations like this. And like you, I would have said mindset. What's mindset? And scarier, with your coach, the main thing that you would have worked on is transforming your limiting beliefs.
Mhm.
I believed that all of my beliefs were true. I didn't even think to question my beliefs. That wasn't even something I considered. So yeah, it's quite scary how we can get sucked into society and corporations and embrace them more than ourselves, isn't it?
Yeah, it is very scary, and I was so grateful to have met her so quickly,
Hmm.
and I feel like she helped me so much. And, like, even still, I'm still talking about her, to
Yeah,
this day as being the best person, to have helped
yeah,
me within my journey. She was
yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
Oh, well, you're amazing. I'm sure she would just say that she helped you to unleash your potential.
Yeah, I'm sure, but she
Yeah.
was, pivotal in the entire journey, because without her, I just don't know if I would have been able to push through, because,
Hmm.
in the beginning of starting your business, that's one of the most important parts. And I think
Mm.
that a lot of people, they give up right at the beginning because they don't really know what is the next step and the next step and the
Yeah.
next step, right? And
Yeah.
I think because I had that help right away, it helped me to see how important your mindset is.
Hmm.
And I always say that if you don't deal with the problems that you have in your life personally, then it's going to be a real hard struggle for you in your business,
Yeah.
because you are the main force of your business,
Yeah.
right? So if you're not able to deal
Absolutely.
with your problems, then it's going to bring your business down, and sometimes your business won't be able to succeed. And so, yeah, I definitely attribute her help in all of my success. So yeah, been great. Like
Oh,
mindset is super important to me. And I still, I've gotten out of some of the practices. And when we talked
mm,
about before, when I talk about, some of the self-care practices that I kind of shied away from, that was some of the things were those things. But
yeah.
and so that's why I was like, okay, so let's talk a little bit about, what do you feel are like the priorities that people need to be focusing on in their life?
For self-care or mindset?
Mindset.
Mindset. Oh, absolutely. You just need to, like, the first thing that I did before I even started studying, when I started doing my own research, was just right, start thinking about what I wanted. And I hadn't a clue what I wanted, Rita. I hadn't a clue. All I could think of was, I want to help people. And I just thought to myself, okay, well, that's a base. That's a base. Let's just work on that every day. I want to help people. And then I'm a big believer in the law of attraction. So I found this way of manifesting that really worked for me. So whatever I was manifesting, I would say it in the current tense,
Hmm.
like it was happening or it was going to tense. So I would say, I am grateful that I am going to help people for a living. That's how it started. And then I progressed from there. So the first thing was to try and get clear on what I wanted. And the second thing was to identify my beliefs that were blocking me, my limiting beliefs,
Yeah.
what they're called in the industry. And my God, I had so many of them. I had so many of them. One of the first ones, which we talked about a bit before we come on, was you have to work hard to
Mhm.
make money. And the emphasis in my mind, Risha, was on hard. It has to be difficult. It has to be dragged out. You have to
Yeah.
be in it like it has to be daunting. It has to be all miserable and hard, 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 hard. Sacrifice, long hours, all those things we talked about. And then I thought, but is that the truth? And I started looking around, and at the time there was what's it called? Reality TV was
Mm.
just getting really, really big. And I had never watched it. And I thought, I'm going to watch this series about this woman and just watch how she makes money. And the more I watched it, the more I realized that she just built this online persona or TV persona who was good television. And she made millions doing that.
Mhm.
So I kept watching it in order to smash that belief. Like what I did is I questioned the belief, pulled it apart, and then transformed it with a new one. And then when I started doing my mindset studying to be a mindset coach, I realized that's what we need to do with all our beliefs. We have to identify them, transform them, and make them work for us. And the scary thing that I did learn about beliefs is that the main ones that are limiting us were placed in our minds between 0 and 7. And we're not really even fully aware that they're there.
Mhm.
Which is one of the main things I love doing with my clients. When they come and we get clear on what they want, we find those beliefs that they didn't know they were there. And
Yeah.
once you find them, then you can smash them apart and transform them. And that is when the magic happens.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that's so important for other moms to hear too, because one thing that I did with my kids, I would call them the 10, I would say. And what it means is, like, I would tell them if they would say anything negative about themselves, I said, give me 10.
Yeah.
And what I mean is, I want you to tell me 10 good things about yourself. And they
Oh,
cannot be the same thing. So you can't say, I'm handsome, I'm cute. No, I want you to
yeah.
say something, they have to be different, and it needs to be I ams, right? Like, I would always have them do that. And they couldn't stand that I would make them do it, because one, I'm putting them on the spot and I'm making
Yeah.
them do it. But I would do that because I was trying to build their self-esteem and their confidence up, and at an early age, So I love hearing you say that, because I think that oftentimes we don't know what we don't know, right? And since
Absolutely.
I had started my business when my kids were younger, it was something that I
Yeah.
was trying to break. And so it has helped, because I find, especially my youngest one, he has the confidence of a king.
It's worked. It's worked.
Right.
You've done it.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so
It's so important though, isn't it? I just think about like I just always use this example with people. like we talked about exercise and working out, right? If you say to yourself, there's a new workout move to do, and you say, I can't do it, you won't do it. You
Mhm.
won't, because you said you can't. If you say, I'm doing this, nothing's going to stop me, you will do it. And Henry Ford's quote, I love it. It's one of my favorites. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're
Mhm.
right.
Yeah.
And that sums it up. It's the same, like another one I always use. Is like, when you get up and something happens and you're like, oh, it's going to be a bad day. And then you're like, oh, how come when the day starts bad, it continues bad? It's your mindset. You
Right.
said it's going to be a bad day.
Yeah, your
So
brain
it's going to
said
be
it.
a bad day.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. It's just like what we said as well before the call. Life is as simple or as complicated as you want to make it. Keep
Mhm.
it simple. Keep it
Yeah.
simple. Get them beliefs, transform them, because otherwise, like you said at the beginning, if you don't work on them beliefs, no matter what you do, they're there blocking you. They're blocking you from being your best and doing your best and unleashing all that potential that we all have within us,
Yeah.
all of us.
And it's really hard, I think, too, when you don't grow up with someone who's like kind of challenging or helping you challenge those beliefs. And as a child, yes, would always tell my kids, like, if someone would say something about, like, let's say that they would say something about each other, and I would say, but is it true? And then, that was my way of helping them to really think about the things and not be bothered by what other people would say about them, because that
Yeah,
was something that as an adult that would bother me, right? I had that
hmm,
fear, especially having a business. Like, I think you get fearful of putting yourself out there, right?
yeah,
Caring about the fear, you have the fear of judgment of what other people are
yeah,
say. And so I was trying to put into them something that I didn't like in myself, right?
yeah,
And so it's still, I think that that's something to be said. But, it's like the more you do it, the easier it becomes. And then that fear goes away. But
mm.
it's still, would have been easier if I would have had that instilled in me as a younger person.
It would have been, wouldn't it? How lovely that would have been.
Yeah.
But then we wouldn't be who we are, would we, without the lives that we lived? That's what I always think.
Right. I know. I know.
Yeah,
That's why I say, I was like, we have to go through the things we have to go through to live the lesson,
yeah,
learn the lessons that we have to learn. And, you know,
yeah, we do. And the beauty of it is being a parent, because we've gone through the hard lessons, we can pass them lessons on to our children, hopefully, without them having to go through what we did to learn it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
hopefully. And that's why I say I
hopefully.
try to instill like some of that
Instill it
stuff.
now. Yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah.
then because I want them to not have to go through the same things, or at least
Mm,
be a little bit, more confident. Because I would always feel like I would project confidence, but inside I wasn't really feeling
yeah,
that same
yeah.
confidence.
It is,
Uh,
isn't it? Because it's giving them the tools. Like when I work with clients, it's always like about like transforming the beliefs and then giving them the tools to empower them, to unleash their potential and live their best lives and do what they want to do. And like you, I just think with the children, give them the tools now. Give our children the tools now. And wow, what future they will have when the bad times do come, because they will, hopefully
yeah,
not too bad.
yeah.
They'll have all these tools and they'll have all these like beliefs like that we've drummed into them. How amazing.
Yeah. So, how are you, like, what methods do you use in order to help your clients work through any mindset issues that they have?
Yeah, so it's good. So at the moment, I do a 12-week program is my signature one.
Okay.
So when they come to me, it's 50-50. Some will know what they want and some won't have a clue. They'll just know that they want change. They'll just know that they are stuck in the lives. That's the word I hear a lot. They're stuck in the life they're in and they want to change it. And
Stuck,
when you
the word.
stuck
Yeah.
is the word, stuck is the word. And like you said, a lot of them don't know what they don't know. They don't know that actually they're living a life that's not in alignment with them and who
Hmm.
they really are. They're not living a life in alignment with them and their purpose and their journey that's meant for them. So once we drill down and get clear on what they want, then we start identifying the beliefs that are keeping them stuck.
Yeah.
And then, like I said about my own beliefs, like we do the same with them. You identify them and then you pick them apart, understand where they came from, and then transform them to ones that will help you.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's when the magic begins then. It's just beautiful to see what happens then.
Yeah. And so the 12-week process is a group program. And
One to one at the moment. I'm doing all one to ones at the moment. It is something I'm considering doing as a group, but for now, I'm just doing the one to ones.
yeah, I like
Yeah,
I like the concept of group programs because then they can support one another. But also,
yeah,
like the one to one is really good because they get that support that's really customized and personalized that they really need oftentimes.
yeah, absolutely. Because everyone's different, aren't they? This is what I'm enjoying about the one to ones. Like for a lot of people, when they start this process as well, they need to work on their confidence and their belief,
Mhm.
to be able to do it. And I think I went like that because I remember at the beginning, that's how you feel, isn't it? You're like, oh,
Yeah,
like I always believed that the human mind is so powerful and that humans can do whatever they put their minds to. But
right.
I didn't believe that I could, which is silly because I'm a human. But that's how I felt. But yeah, so that's something that we always work on, and it's beautiful when you watch that unfold. It's like watching a butterfly emerge, and when you see people working on their beliefs and they come in alignment with their true selves and their life, and they start believing they can make it happen. And all the tools that we put together and all the mindset work that we do, it's there forever. They have that toolbox forever and they know that. And then when you finish working with them, it's just beautiful. It's just so
Yeah.
beautiful to watch it happen.
Yeah, I think that that's the important part is like you're empowering them to move
Yeah.
forward with these tools that
Yeah.
they're going to carry with them for a lifetime, right? They're
Yeah.
going to,
It's like being a parent, isn't it, Risha? Like
yeah,
you could do it for people or your children, but isn't it better to empower and give the tools?
right. It's just like my first coach and she, it's like I still credit her with so much and I've worked with other people, but she's been the most amazing, because I think she laid the foundation and she was so pivotal in all of the things and all of the thought processes that I had because I think that she helped me in so many different ways. Like we would talk about mindset a lot. We talk about,
Yeah.
limiting beliefs. We talk about imposter syndrome. We would talk about all of the things because in addition to like coaching and stuff, we were friends as well. So we would dive deep into and we would work on client projects and stuff together. So we had a long standing relationship. And so I've learned so much from her. She was so amazing.
Yeah.
So
And it's stuff, I bet it's stuff that you'll always have now, isn't it? The stuff that you learned, you will always have that. How amazing is
I
that?
still I still say things that she would tell me, like I mean, things that she was so smart. She would, like 80% of the thoughts that we have in our brain are negative and it's subconscious. We can't even control it. It's just there. And that's why it's important for us to do affirmations and gratitude
Hmm.
because these are subconscious thoughts that we can't even control.
Yeah.
And so we have to kind of counteract them by doing these positive things. And
Yeah.
people don't realize how important it is to kind of I guess um trick your mind, right? Because
Absolutely. And
hey,
again, you don't know what you don't know, but once you learn how to do it, you will have realized it's actually quite simple.
yeah,
There's certain things you can do that make it quite simple how to trick your mind and make it work for you, isn't there?
yeah, because it's so powerful. Like
Mm,
just the affirmations, like one simple thing, I
yeah.
had the affirmations like up on the wall in front of me, and it wasn't as if I was saying them. She wasn't saying like read them, but they were up on the wall. And so while you're working and you would just look up there and then you would just read them,
Yeah.
just because they're there. And then they would
Yeah.
start to stick because because they're just there,
Yeah.
and it just became a second nature for me to just sit there and look at them and read them, and then it just becomes ingrained in your mind.
Yeah.
So it's a lot different than opening up a notebook and reading out of a list of
Hmm.
affirmations versus having something up on your wall and it just being there and
Yeah.
you then start believing it. So I think
Absolutely.
there's different ways and you have to like
Yeah.
figure out what works for you and what's best for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Everyone's different. And that's the important and interesting part, isn't it? Everyone's different.
Yeah, because I was
Yeah.
really I think, I was in a very negative mindset because I had
Hmm.
grown in a challenging with a challenging life. And and then have been in relationships where I was kind of pushed down. And so I
Mm,
had lost my voice a lot. And
mm,
so, there were things that we had to do that kind of break me out of the cycles that I
yeah.
was in. So I feel like I needed extra, extra, extra help.
And you've done it. You said I had lost my voice, past tense. You've
Yeah.
done it. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And
Yeah.
it's crazy because I will tell people that I'm an introvert and they're like, "No, you're not." And I'm like, "I
Yeah.
swear I am."
Yeah. That's my it's not and that's one of my secrets as well. I'm actually a natural introvert and it shocks people. But it
Yeah.
just shows you that any skill can be learned, can't it? Any
Yeah,
skill. It's
definitely.
mindset again. Yeah.
So I always love to like wrap up the show when talking about self-care. And I love to talk about like what you do for self-care. So
Yeah.
can you tell us what you do, especially since you have two little ones running around?
Yeah,
They are
I
so,
do.
so little.
I know they are. Yeah, so my self-care, I love exercise. Exercise. And some people go, oh God, how's that self-care? The days that I am stressed, if I go for a run, I come back feeling top of the world. I come back feeling like I can do anything. I come back like feeling, like Rocky going up and down the steps. That's how I
Mhm.
come back. It's just the endorphins, isn't it? It's a mixture of the endorphins, the serotonin, all of nature's feel good stuff. That makes me feel good. And then I do workouts to make me feel good. And the reason I do exercise and workouts is mostly for my mental health.
Yeah.
But then physically, it makes you feel good too.
Mhm.
I also do meditation, and when I have time, I do journaling as well. They're my self care things.
So, a lot of people who I talk to get stuck on meditation. So, what are your pointers on people who say, like, I can't meditate because my
Mm.
brain starts to wander? Like, what do you have? Any tips for that?
But I can tell them that I used to be one of those people. And it's like everything, Rita. There's so many preconceived ideas, notions, opinions. And what I always say to people is clear your mind of anything you've heard or believed about meditation. It's simply a way for you to control your mind. And
Mhm.
you'll start doing it for 10 minutes a day, but then it will ripple into your life and you can control your mind at any given time. And it's just a beautiful tool to have. It's such a powerful tool. The way that I do it, the way that I started, and the way that I do it mostly is there's this app called Headspace. Do you know that one?
Yeah.
There's a lot of noise on there as well on the app. I just go straight into the daily 10-minute meditation.
Hmm.
Sit there, it guides you through it. Some days now, when I don't have time to do the app, I could be in the queue in the supermarket, I could be driving, I could be trying to sleep. I'll just do what they say because it's gone into your
Right.
mind what to do, and that's it. That's it. Just keep it simple. It's nothing. You don't have to quieten your thoughts. If you could quieten your thoughts that easy, we wouldn't need to meditate. Your thoughts are supposed to pop in and out. It's just learning how to be aware and control it. And
Mhm.
once you get it, you will reap the benefits. It's just a tool. It's a superpower that everyone needs in their lives.
Yeah, and I remember when I was meditating regularly, and I also would have, thoughts interrupt. And I would say, if that happens, just push it out of your mind and clear your mind and just keep going,
That's
and
it.
don't let it discourage you from trying to meditate. And if you could just do it for a minute, then success.
That's it.
Next time go for 2 minutes.
That's it. And you will. I bet you notice the difference. The days that you meditate, you're calmer, aren't you? You're more in control.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Okay, so tell everyone where they can find you. Where are you online? If
Right. So I'm on Instagram under my name, Laoisha_Holmes. I'm on TikTok under my name. I'm on Facebook under my name. My website is laoishaholmes.com. And I've also got a podcast, and that is on Spotify under Mind Yourself.
Love you. Thank you so much. Well, it's been such a pleasure chatting with you. I
Yes,
really
yes.
enjoyed it. Thank you so much for being a guest.
Thank you for having me. I've really enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
And there you have it. I want to encourage you to remember that being a mom who runs her own business is not easy. We all struggle, but just keep moving forward and don't forget to make time for yourself. As moms, we are usually the first thing to go to the bottom of the list. If your business is overwhelming you and you need real solutions, not just some sugar-coated suggestions, apply to work with me at ritasuzanne.com/apply.